Analyst Dr. Kevin Hardwick joins us now. First, let's talk about the mayor's race and the breakdown with the districts. Were there any big surprises in how those districts shook down?
Yeah, I think that people expected Kevin Helfer, the Republican candidate, to do better in South Buffalo and Delaware and some of the districts that Kevin Gaughan did so well in the primary. That didn't happen. He didn't do well at all there, at least not as well as people expected. Other than that, of course, there were the two write-in votes for Kevin O'Connell in the South Buffalo district, but that's to be expected. I think it's the same two people that wrote him in the primary.
I think that was Kevin himself. Well, voters were supposed to, Kevin, remember in November regarding the Erie County legislators. Did you expect more casualties to the incumbents this year?
No, actually I expected less casualties. I think I expected the casualties to come earlier in the year. I mean, they came when seven of the incumbents decided not to seek re-election. I mean, that figure alone, 7 out of 15 deciding not to run for re-election, that's astounding. And now it appears at least a couple more of them to get knocked off during the general election. Just totally amazing, totally amazing. I think people did send a message. I think we're going to take a few days to figure out what that message is. Perhaps by Thursday, when the county legislature meets again, we'll know what that message is, and we'll see if they get it.
And the Amherst supervisor's race. Did you expect Dr. Mohan to have such a strong showing?
I expected him to have a strong showing. I didn't know whether he'd win or not. You know, there was a lot of buzz around that campaign. You know, it's kind of interesting when the Republicans have to rely on a guy named Satish from Amherst to be their big victory for the night. I mean, I think it speaks to how badly Republicans did tonight. They had a terrible night. I mean, no one was expecting them to do well. It would have been like the Bills winning not just the Super Bowl, but the Stanley Cup to boot. But you know, they just totally wiped out in the legislature. Very bad night. I think it's somewhat reflective of that registration advantage. Bob Davis keeps talking about the Democrats having 126,000 voters. In past years, he's been able to overcome that. This year, I think it finally caught up with Bob Davis and the Republicans.
Do you think that's anything that they will try and pin on Joel Giambra and the whole budget debacle?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it can be. Obviously, something has happened between 2 years ago when Republicans had a fairly good year and this year. And obviously, the thing that happened was last year and that whole budget debacle.
Yeah, Kevin, the Erie County Sheriff's race, let's talk about that for a moment. That was a bitter one this year. Surprised by the outcome tonight?
No, I think the incumbent had an advantage. I think Charlie Faramusca didn't have the resources that the incumbent Tim Howard did. I think Charlie mounted a good campaign. It was a bitter campaign. When they came on my radio show on WBEN a couple weeks ago, I made them check their guns at the door. And I'm glad I did, because it was kind of heated, especially during some of the breaks.
Sure. Well, we're going to fine you a quarter for that shameless plug for your WBEN show, but we appreciate your time.
It's on at 11, of course, on Sunday morning.
Yes, okay, I just made that 50 cents. We're going to take you off before you owe us the bank. Thank you, Dr. Kevin Hardwick, for your analysis tonight.